Welcome back for another edition of SJHL Weekly. The second round, I should say, is well underway now. Both series have 2 games behind them, and we got SJHL logos flying everywhere. We are excited. We are excited. It is a big moment here. Exciting show ahead as we get into the games 1 and 2 of the second round, as well as we're going to be joined by head coach and general manager Trevor Blevins of the Melfort Mustangs later in the show. Plus, even later in the show, SJHL Quiz Playoff Edition will be coming at you. So before we get there, we have to thank our sponsors, of course, and we start with UPL, as we always do, as they present all of our broadcasts as well as the entirety of the playoffs. Thank you, UPL. Borgo, Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Chevrolet, Great Western, Nutrien, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Lotteries, Tourism Saskatchewan, Sask Energy, SGEU, and SGI. Thank you all. Thank you all for sponsoring all of us here at the SJHL, as well as all of our broadcasts. Jamie and Rory are beside me here. Guys, an exciting weekend. Kind of. It was more of a Thursday, Friday, and then we had a weekend off, more or less. But we're getting back into it tonight. Rory, I'm going to start with you. Did it go how you expected it to go in games 1 and 2?
Yeah, first off, tried looking at a solar eclipse 4 minutes before the show started. Bad idea.
Not good.
No, bad idea.
Yeah.
Can barely see.
Yes. I don't see anything at the moment.
But, yeah, I mean, how I expected it to go. They were really close games, which, yeah, that's how I expected it to go. I felt after watching Humboldt and Melfort play that both games could have gone either way. But, hey, props to Melfort. They come away. They've more clutch scoring. I know we'll get into that series in a little bit later. But they got that 2-0 series lead, protect home ice advantage. But yeah, no, I thought they were really close games, and that's what didn't shock me.
Yeah. Nugsy?
Yeah, pardon me. Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say, April 6th every year comes along, and that whole 24 hours, I kind of feel a little rattled, and I'm sure a lot of people around the hockey world feel the same way. Obviously, the Humboldt bus tragedy, 6th year anniversary, and I understand they're working on a memorial at the site now, which is good to see. But yeah, so obviously you'll never forget the victims and the survivors of that event, and that was something that was on my mind heavily on Saturday, and so I'm kind of happy the league didn't have games, over that time. But we do want to get to the hockey. I know the people involved with that would want us to focus on hockey too. But again, just a quick thought for their memory. But yeah, the Whitney Forum. Man,
do they have some sort of stuff going on?
Fun to see the Whitney Forum back to what it is supposed to be, because it looked like it was going to blow off the roof there, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get up there.
With how many rockin' crowds have been in the Whitney, I'm surprised they haven't had more roof issues. But we will kind of start looking back at Thursday and Friday now. If we can go into Thursday's game recaps, if you don't mind, gentlemen. As you can see, Flin Flon eked out a win with a third period goal from Justin Lees on the power play to sneak by with a 4-3 win against Battlefords in game 1. And Melfort defeated the Humboldt Broncos 4-2 in game 1 with 3 goals in the third period as well. In game 2 on Friday, you can see the Flin Flon Bombers had a little bit more luck at home with a 6-2 victory over the Battlefords North Stars, again with 3 third-period goals in that one. And in Game 2 for the Melfort-Humboldt series, Melfort scored the last 3 goals late second period and then 2 in the third period to come back and beat Humboldt in that one. So both the higher seeds have 2-0 series leads at the moment. Let's start with the Flin Flon and Battleford series. Nugsy, I'm going to start with you. Let's break this one down. I mean, very close game in game 1, a little less close in game 2. What's your synopsis of the series so far?
Yeah, very penalty-filled, power play goal-filled first period. And obviously, Braden Klamosko had to note that if he was given the Flin Flon Bombers power play chances, then it was going to be a long or a short series. I guess I was going to say long series, but a short series. Yeah. If you're a Battlefords North Stars fan. So far, Flin Flon 3 for 8 on the power play. The Stars did a better job killing penalties in the second game. But yeah, I mean, Mike Reagan has to be really happy with what he saw both games, I would have to think. 22-14 on those grade A chances over the 2 games for the Bombers, 61% on faceoffs. I look at those details in the Whitney Forum. If you don't start with the puck off the draw, then again, it can feel like an avalanche. It can feel like the world's closing in on you. And the shots on goal here or there, even Rob Hart and Austin Mattis on the broadcast were like, I'm not sure the shots are accurate, but 50 to 27 over the 2 games, shots on goal for Flin Flon.
What do you call it,
I call it Morse code, where the guys just hammering that number, just getting how many shots on goal the home team can get, and it doesn't matter. Obviously, the scoreboard's all that matters.
Well, just for reference too, if you look at the stats sheet on SJHL.ca, 21-8, 20-9, 18-6 were the shots by period. Battlefords didn't register 10 shots in any period in that first game. I was watching that first game too, Nugsy, and that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, man, Flin Flon is pelting Battlefords with shots. But
so that all to say, I still think Mike Reagan's very happy. I spoke to him a little bit about their forecheck being so important in this series, because we talked about Battleford's mobile decor, and I think that really killed Flin Flon last year in the finals, was the mobility of Battleford's decor, moving pucks through that forecheck. Well, the Bombers did a wonderful job stopping pucks, making mistakes happen, and then we talk about it all the time too. The Battleford's wingers get caught high up the ice. It works great when they escape, when the forecheck is evaded like it was last year, time after time. This year, it's been a little bit tougher sledding, especially at the Whitney Forum. And again, the Battleford's North Stars, again, you always say you're not out, you're not in trouble until you lose at home. But I think Braden Klamosko, fellas, if you would agree with me, would have to be worried with the way that the games went up at the Whitney Forum.
Yeah, I just feel, Flin Flon's doing everything right right now. Right? It's not that Battlefords can't win this series, but there's no, crack in the armor for Flin Flon, it seems like, in the playoffs. When you need a catalyst, right? When you need something that can change the pace of a game, or someone to step up when you need it the most, it's been Justin Lees all season long. It was once again Justin Lees ending game 1, starting game 2. So Battlefords has that 3-2 lead right late in the second period. Who's the one that scores to tie it up on the power play? It's Justin Lees. Then who's the one that gets the game-winning goal in the third? It's Justin Lees. If Battlefords takes that 3-2 lead into the third period, I think it could be a different game, but not. They score late in the second. They get that momentum back in the dressing room. They come back out early in the third, and he ends the game. Who opens the scoring in game 2 to get the ball rolling when Battlefords knows that's, getting close to a must-win? You don't want to go down 2-0. Justin Lees, 6th goal of the playoffs, right? So he's been the catalyst, but the whole team of Flin Flon has just been doing everything right. They haven't trailed after any period, never, in 6 games in the playoffs. They've led after the first in every game. They've led after or been tied, and led or tied after the second in every game. They've scored the first goal of all 6 games. Outscoring their opponent 12-2 in third periods. They're starting games, they're ending games. I don't see really, a defect right now, and it's going to be hard to win 4 out of 5 against Flin Flon.
Yeah, and Mike Reagan was not thrilled with Harmon Laser Hume's game 1. I think that was pretty obvious. Maybe one area, tiny area, if we're going to be that'd be a little bit better. And Harmon was great in game 2.
I would say he was underrated in game 2.
He was underrated in game 2.
sorry,
Justin Lees, Rory, you talk about it, what a shot he has. You know what? Every coach in this day and age are always talking about kids are in love with the high shot, the highlight reel, top corner goal that pops the water bottle, and that's fun. But Justin Lees, where is he shooting the puck? He's shooting it low. He's shooting it far pad. He's shooting it 5-hole on Logan Cunningham. That's what he did. He can put it top corner if he wants to, but he clearly does his homework, pays attention. Obviously, Logan Cunningham's a big goalie. And found that space a couple times on him. So, Justin Lees doesn't care about the highlight reel, just cares about pounding the puck in the net. And the last thing that I'll say, fellas, is you talk about a guy like Noah Houle, for example, such a talented guy, such an offensive catalyst, such a dynamo. Seems like he has the puck on his stick every shift. He's out there for the whole shift. But who leads this series in shot blocks right now? It's Noah Houle. He's got 4 blocks. Yeah, he's on the ice a lot. He's, in his D zone. He's got the matchup, but he's leading the team in shot blocks. So, when that guy is blocking shots, how can any other defenseman on Flin Flon say, I don't want to block shots, coach? Look at the stats. The best guys are being the best guys for Flin Flon. On the other side, Kean Bell's having a hard series. We just got to be honest so far. Ben Portner stepped up. He's been terrific. He's been wonderful. But again, as I say that, Kiabel has a nice replay. But again, we talked about in the Insider, Clark, about how the Bombers needed other people other than Kean Bell to be big, and they need that. They need that the rest of the series if they're going to make it a series. And yeah, like Kean had moments, but he's got to have more moments if this Battleford's team is going to be, the Stars team that we know that can compete with this Flin Flon team.
And the way to go up against, there's no cheat in the game against Flin Flon.
No.
So everyone has to step up, simple, hard plays. It has to be simple. It has to be effective.
Yeah.
You can't cheat it against Flin Flon. Transitional game, especially in the Whitney Forum, like the puck moves from behind your own net or behind the opposition's net. All of a sudden, Flin Flon has a scoring chance in a matter of a second. Like it's just so fast in that building. You can't cheat the game. Not saying that Battleford is doing it over and over and over again. But I just felt transitionally, and when they're going back to the ACC, you just got to simplify it against Flin Flon. It's the only way you can try to beat them.
And I hope I'm not stepping on toes here, but I do have to say, and I always talk about it, like I talk about the effect of Joel Mabin on Melville, for example, and guys like that. It's hard to quantify it. I know in the new world of metrics and stats and underlying stats and whatever, it kind of gets lost. But the intangible of the guys who have the soul, the guts, the grit, and Riley Giroux and Jackson Allen to me are huge misses for Battlefords in this series. Like, are they the most skilled guys on the Stars? No, they're not. But they have that experience from the Centennial Cup run, and again, just a little bit of that soul, a little bit of that grit, and we'll see whether either of them can come back. But yeah, I think they're just bigger misses, especially at this point in the playoffs than just statistically.
Well, you don't need to outskill Flin Flon. Don't even try.
No.
You need to outwork Flin Flon.
Right.
And what did Jackson Allen and Riley Giroux do?
Yeah, they work you. Yeah,
they work.
Yeah.
So big losses.
And no moose leg was stolen in either of the games. So, I mean, very uneventful.
Yeah.
No, but one thing I did want to mention and point out is in Game 2, you mentioned Justin Leaf stepping up a lot. A lot of the Bombers stepped up. Only 4 players didn't register a point in Game 2. And one of those players, Noah Houle. He did not get a point in Game 2, yet
But
he did all the other things right.
Yeah.
That's what kind of I was reiterating your point from a couple minutes ago, where he's such an important player. He didn't register a point, still had a very important game. So guys are stepping up all across Flin Flon, and I guess we'll go back to the question from last Thursday on Insider, is who now will step up for Battlefords as they head back home for games 4 and 5. Rory.
Yep.
Melfort and Humboldt, games 1 and 2, Thursday,
All
Friday.
Right.
You don't have to ask me twice. No. But games 1 and 2, Thursday, Friday. Can you give me the breakdown of those 2 games?
Yeah, I think I said it in the top of the show. Melfort did exactly what they needed to do, but it's a weird 2-0 series because on the Humboldt Broncos side, I wouldn't change a single thing.
Right.
I think they feel they maybe deserved a win in one of the games, but that's sometimes not how the cookie crumbles. You got to stop the top line of Melfort, and that's really the only thing the Broncos cannot do right now. They're so dangerous. They're so opportunistic. They're really clutch. And even if you limit them to really low scoring opportunities, like Humboldt did in Game 1, the whole team of the Melfort Mustangs only had 6 high danger scoring chances. Well, what did they do? They scored on 3 of them. 2 for Ryan Duguay, 1 for Clay Sleva. The top line has scored 22 goals in the playoffs so far, including the 2 defensemen. So, if that dries up, I'm worried about the Melfort Mustangs. They aren't getting a whole lot from anyone else, but that line is just so dangerous, and I can't wait to talk about Trevor Blevins about how he has a smile on his face every time they go out, because I'd put that line against everyone else. But yeah, Humboldt outchanced them over the 2 games, 28-18. Just not able to score, especially on the road, right? Humboldt has 20 out of their 32 goals at home, and they've played less home games. So wouldn't change a thing. Really, really close games. Thought they could have been either way. Of course, Humboldt led 3-1 at one point. Then it's Chase Friedmore and Ryan Duguay. Boom, all of a sudden it's 4-3. Just capitalizing on your opportunities. I think you got to keep the status quo. I think for Melfort, you got to be happy that you took both home games, but I know that they're looking at this series, and I don't think anyone should be surprised if it ends up going 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, for the Humboldt Broncos, they had second period leads in both games.
Yeah.
Again, you don't see Scott Barney teams give up leads that much. The thing that I saw, from a Humboldt perspective is they played pretty good, as you said. A lot of the underlying stats, really good face-offs, and you and I were talking a bit about that. Obviously, Spencer Bell, when he's out there, he's going to win the face-off more times than not. 66% D-zone face-offs over the series so far for Humboldt. That's impressive. Yeah. But the thing I'm seeing is, that youth maybe creeping in a little bit for Humboldt on the back end, especially. The mistakes are big mistakes. When the Melfort Mustangs make a mistake, because everybody makes mistakes. This is junior hockey, especially with junior A hockey. People make mistakes, and there's going to be mistakes happening. They're not as big for Melfort as they have been for Humboldt. The breakdowns have been much bigger for Humboldt. The clear-cut chances have been huge for Melfort in this series, and Ben Motu has had to make some really, really big saves at times when it's been odd man rushes and whatnot against. So, Scott Martin's going to be trying to clean that up, go home. You can match up a little bit better. You can pick the guys that you want at the right moment against that Sleeville line and take what you can in those situations. And for Melfort, I mean, you know what? No coach in this league plays his big dogs more than anybody, more than Trevor Blevens. And that's been the way that Trevor Blevens has coached forever. Like, it's not just this year, right? Like, you go back since he's basically started, he has horses, he'll ride his horses. And so does he need to be that deep? I don't know, really. Like, I guess it'll depend on whether he wins the championship or not. But we talked in the preview, right, about the big dogs on Melfort versus the big dogs on Flin Flon. And, you really do flip a coin, that line. The thing I really like, especially about that Hutchinson and Sleva and Duguay line, is they stick together, and the chemistry that they've had because Trevor Blevins sticks with them through thick and thin and says, you know what, maybe I'll stomach a little bit of less dynamism, a little bit less creativity on other lines for that purpose, and we'll just trust, the Rhett Hamiltons and the Hayden Prosofskis when he's healthy of the world, and the Nolan Pattersons of the world to be dependable first and foremost.
Just play mistake-free, pretty much, right? Yeah.
Until the Duguay line can get out there. And I also did say, too, that Duguay was just creating so much against Estevan and seemed like he was the one guy that couldn't really beat Jackson Miller. Well, they're going in now for Ryan Duguay, 2 goals in each game for him, and he is such a killer in the offensive zone. Really, really impressive stuff from that top line for Melfort, but again, that's what they're supposed to do. That's their job, right? And they're all 20-year-olds. They're all excellent 20-year-olds in our league, so they're doing what they're supposed to do. That's what they're
including the 2 defensemen, right? I mean, when we talk about the top line, we also have to put in Chase Frietmore and Leith Olafson and how dangerous they are. Frietmore with 2 goals in game 2 as well. And they're all 20-year-olds, right? All 5 of them. When they're on the ice, I would put those 5 against any other 5 in the league. They are so dominating. It's the one thing for Humboldt. It has to be the top circled priority. Stop these 5 guys. And I just don't know if it's possible. If you can try, but if you can hold them to 2, they can't score 4 goals in one game. They're going to beat you, right?
Well, they've scored like those 3 guys plus Chase Fremont have scored 9 the last 9 goals in a row for Melfort outside of Logan Belton's empty netter, which we aren't going to count.
And they've scored 7 out of the 8 goals in the series, including just the one that not is Logan Belton's empty netter.
So it's impressive stuff, and I look at this Melfort decor as a lot deeper than just Frietmore and Olafson. And you think about the fact that Blevins can keep those guys together. He really, really does trust, Nolan Henderson and Cole Unger, I think, has taken a big step forward, and Bo Eisner, who have taken big steps forward as well in this playoffs too. Those guys, again, it's kind of like be dependable until the big dogs come out and eat, but I think those guys are playing great hockey too. It's more of a balance on the back end for me. And then we have to talk about James Venn. Question mark that we had coming in was, could he play well against the Humboldt Broncos? I posed that question to a dad on the Melfort Mustangs, actually. He said, that's unfair. We kind of hung him out to dry when we played Humboldt, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm not so sure. I think James Venn struggled against the Humboldt Broncos legitimately this
in the regular
season. But he answered those questions in these 2 games. I thought James Venn was really, really good. I thought Ben Motu was good too. But just the Mustangs a lot more opportunistic when they had the chances.
Opportunistic 100%. Humboldt is, they're going to have to figure something out on the road. Can't score. Right? Like, at home, they're putting the puck into the back and then it will, right? At home against Daza, on the road against Daza, had a tough time scoring on the road. Now against Venn, have a tough time scoring. They're getting opportunities, and Venn's been good, but they're just not capitalizing on their chances.
But he's got a great, as I said, Venn's got a great decor ahead of him, and not his fault at all. That's nothing to take away from him. He's been great. But the saves he makes, he just makes them. He's not spectacular, but he's in the right position. Doesn't need a second, third chance because he knows, Nolan Henderson's going to clear you out or whatever. Robert's going to clear you out. They got really, really gritty guys. They're really well balanced on the back end. So it's the perfect situation for a goalie like Venn to shine right now too. They're playing good hockey, and that's why the Melfort Mustangs are up 2-0. They really do deserve the credit.
And I can't wait to see, because I mean, shout out to the Bronco fans. It's just awesome having the series right an hour away.
Yeah.
There was 2 buses that made. You usually see 1 fan bus, 2 buses came to
awesome.
Melfort. So there's 200 fans there in Melfort. And I can't wait to see the Melfort fans come into the EPA. Right,
yeah.
it's just a sparkle of this series is having that close proximity, traveling fans.
Yeah.
When Humboldt scored, it was almost just as loud as when Melfort scored in the Northern Lights Palace, and I expect it to be the same in the EPA. It's awesome.
I love the drama, man.
Yeah,
I love the unfriendliness. You think about the NBA or whatever, a lot of the rivalries in sports these days, like guys are hugging each other and are best friends and everybody's happy, kumbaya. But not in the SJ. Like people don't like each other. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm going to read some of the comments from our viewers in just a second, so I'm going to throw that to the guys in the back just to have that ready to roll here. One of the questions going into this series, and it was actually on our season preview article, Nugsy, and Rory, maybe I'll throw this to you. The question was, Humboldt just wrapped up their tough 7-game set with Weyburn on Tuesday night. Can they use that momentum in Game 1, or will they be too gassed? Do you think that had anything to do with it? Did they look gassed?
Humboldt was by far the better team in Game 1.
Yeah.
Melfort was better in Game 2. But I don't think you can look at Game 1, and even Melfort probably thinks they might have got away with one. Humboldt was the better team. They looked like the more energized team. So, yes, they used that, I think, Game 7 to go into Game 1. I will say, I know Humboldt's a little bit banged up, right? They have this little bit of window before Game 3. I know how much they ran those top dogs in Melfort through Game 1 and Game 2, so I'm sure they're appreciating the break as well. It's just going to set up a really, really good Game 3 and Game 4. But no, I don't think attrition was any concern in Game 1 or in Game 2 for Humboldt. They seemed fine.
Fair enough. Let's have a look now to Director Bryce in the back at the highlight of the week. And this goes back to Game 1, Melfort Humboldt. And it is a goal from Clay Sleva. Let's have a look now.
Iser trying to pin his man. Sleva trying to take it away from Weagle. Read it perfectly, and now they're on the mush, Melfort. Clay Sleva, there's a backhand shot, he scores! Clay Sleva all by himself! And the Mustangs back on top. Kill a penalty, score a goal. Clay Sleva. It's 3-2 Melfort.
The end-to-end goal from Clay Sleva, that was the eventual game winner. Good call, Ben Tompkins, on that one. Shout out to Benny. If we can read some of the comments now, potentially. Yeah, okay, perfect. We're going to go back to Steven Soiko, who I believe is our friend from Phantom Light Distillery. Yes, and he says, come to see the Phantom Light Distillery bar on wheels at the game tonight to enjoy a Caesar and a peach tea. So I'm guessing they're going to be in Battlefords tonight.
I have heard.
Slanging drinks.
They've been to Humboldt twice in the playoffs so far with that Phantom Light rolling bar that I haven't tried one myself. I've been working, but they make a mean Caesar.
Change your broadcast. I should say too.
They make a mean Caesar. I've heard.
I learned from our friends there in Weyburn. We were. Love my order of words right there. In Weyburn we were. That Phantom Light vodka is gluten free.
Hey, Noogsy's
really
so excited
about that. So
Noogsy's so excited.
Love it.
Elaine Fox is tuned in. She says, "Let's go Bombers." She also was extremely impressed by the 50-50 amounts across the board, and those are guaranteed to continue. Yeah, I mean, teams are having a great time with the 50-50s, and me and Nugsy are going to be in Humboldt tomorrow night. I fully anticipate purchasing a ticket and winning the ticket.
Guaranteed 10,000 again.
He anticipates winning.
Rory, you're going to have to help me out with that one. I don't know how you're going to help me because I know you're going to be busy.
Corruption.
I'm just going to rig it now.
I in no way can rig that. Random number
No,
generator,
I know.
guys.
I used to work 50-50 systems in the past. You can't rig those things. It's impossible. Bernadette Benson says the Bombers didn't win by luck. It was a full-on team effort on Friday, so that would have been game 2 that she's talking about. Let's see, who else? Eddie Trubiak says Bombers didn't need luck. We're just the better team. The Bombers fans are out. They're throwing haymakers. Daytona Montaigne says, when Melfort plays in Nipawin, I can't talk to any of my church friends who live in Nipawin. God can't help us there. That's what we're talking about. The rivalries in this league are so awesome. And at the end of the day, I think there is a kind of an underlying love for everybody, but at the same time, in the moment,
but the rivalries are legit.
The saying my uncle always said to me, and I'm sure you guys have heard it in some form or another, is when you step on the ice, there are no friends. It's kind of the same way for SJHL rivalries. When you walk into the building, there are no friends until after the game.
And that's what makes the handshake at the end of a series the best tradition in any sports, right?
Yeah.
Like, you hate each other for 60 minutes every game, potentially 420 minutes through a series, and afterwards you shake hands and you say congratulations to the guys that won.
Yeah, exactly. It's always so good. And Nugsy, I know you put it best on one of our posts. It's stay classy, Warriors shaking hands on the ice. Always love that kind of stuff. Nugsy, speaking of you, time for Nugs and Notes before we get to the break here.
All right, yeah. So I'll keep this one relatively short here because don't want to leave the Grand Poobah there in Melfort waiting too long. RBC Ambassador update. Can we throw it up there? You go. RBC Community Ambassador. You can vote once per device, I understand.
Yeah, we've had some miscommunication about how that's all going down.
Just once per device, and that'll be done on April the 14th. Our finals preview show will likely be Wednesday next week, by the way.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, too.
Talk about that.
Just to
April
make
the
sure,
14th, though, is the Sunday. So it ends, I believe, midnight, April the 14th. So get your votes in. And Jacob Kazette has taken the lead over Joey Lees. Jacob Kazette of the L'Orange Ice Wolves, the local boys, are in the battle there. Little and Olafson are not local boys, too, there. So, but Lees and Kazette are our local boys to their communities. So, Kazette is actually well ahead right now.
Nice.
So you got to get some work to do there, Flin Flon, Estevan, and Melfort fans. You got 6 days. There you go. All right, moving on. Commitment, Peyton Kostishin, the captain of the Melville Millionaires, has committed to SAIT. Whole bunch of SJ kids on South Alberta. There are the Richmond boys, the Flin Flon Richmond boys, Caden Skolmoski, who was in Melville, Zach Kane, who was in Melville, and Flin Flon. Our buddy Connor Nolan, one of the best kids ever, also a former Melville Millionaire. Corey King, who was in the finals with Flin Flon last year too. So a couple of SAIT boys, and Peyton Kostishin, congratulations going off to SAIT. The U18s quickly, the Saskatoon Blazers lost in the West Regional Finals to the Brandon Wheat Kings last
It's a
night.
big deal.
But the Brandon Wheat Kings are a wagon. 55-1-1 on
That's crazy.
for the Brandon Wheat Kings. That is crazy. And their one loss was a game that didn't mean anything. So there you go. So the boys there for Brandon start April the 22nd in Nova Scotia. There won't be any Saskatchewan teams, which is too bad. There will be a very, very good Saskatchewan contingent at the Esso Cup, which starts April 21st in Vernon, BC. The Regina Rebels swept the Winnipeg Ice in the girls U18 best of three, won 2-0 in that series. The Rebels, of course, won bronze at the Esso Cup last year. So go win a gold for Saskatchewan Regina Rebels. We're really proud of you. And know you're going to do great. So there you go, Nugs and Notes.
And one more Nugs and Notes for me. I'm adding to it. The Melville Millionaires are committing every single, what did you call it? Every single player in under 18
they're just
triple.
announcing a lot of commits.
They're announcing all their commits, and it seems like every day they have another
And
one.
also, it was Clark's birthday yesterday.
Oh.
So happy birthday,
buddy.
Clark.
Thanks, guys.
We were trying to think of people who were number 33 in the league, and Ben Costantino was probably the best
Costantino.
one I could think of right now, but
There's probably at
sure
least
there's
one
other
or
ones
two
that are good
goalies.
too, so
There's probably a couple of goalies.
Comment on your best number 33s in the SJ this year and past.
Yeah.
And we'd love to see it.
My brother, I can't even say my brother because he was number 29 back in the day. So he wasn't a 33 either, but he wore 33 in
Patrick Waugh,
midget
obviously.
AAA, I'm pretty sure. But Patrick Waugh was the one I went with.
And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh, nice. Nice. There's a good rap lyric about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. We'll leave that for another time. Let's hit a break, and after the break, we're going to be joined by Melfort Mustangs head coach and general manager Trevor Blevins. We'll see you in just a couple minutes.
It's the 2023 model clearout at Capital GMC. Drum roll, please. 0% financing is back. For a limited time, finance rates are as low as 0% on select new 2023 GMC Sierras. CapitalGMC.ca.
Connecting with customers can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. At Direct West, we have the marketing tools and expertise to help introduce your business to the masses and help it grow. Connect with more customers. Direct West.
As a student, things can pile up fast. Ouch. But the RBC Student Banking Bundle makes back to school easier with up to $275 in value. That's a whole pile of takeout.
Enjoying what's around you. That's what it's all about. Farm to table, in season, locally foraged, look out the window and that's exactly what you'll see on your plate. It's the kind of experience that you'll compare everything else to for years to come. And it's so close, you can almost taste it. Indulge in our unlimited lakes and parkland. Saskatchewan.
Today, online bullying is more common than ever, but there is help. SaskTel wants to solve this problem. It's why they created Be Kind Online. If you're a victim of online bullying or know someone who is, or even if you just want to stop it from happening to anyone, this is a place to learn what you can do. You can find lots of tools and tips to help you stand up to cyberbullying. Be Kind Online is a place to learn how to stay safe as well, to learn best practices and plans to stop cyberbullying before it even has a chance.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
Sask Energy Network members are the best choice for natural gas solutions for your home or business. With comprehensive services like heating equipment maintenance, appliance installation, and in-store financing, they have natural gas solutions that go beyond heating to bring you the comfort, efficiency, and reliability of natural gas, both indoors and outdoors, all year long. For whole home natural gas solutions, network members burn brighter.
All right, welcome back inside the SJHL Weekly studios. Clark Munroe here with Rory McGouran and Jamie Neugebauer. And we're going to head to the video chat line now as we are joined by head coach and general manager of the Melfort Mustangs, Trevor Blevins. Trevor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And so first of all, we're going to start with games 1 and 2. I mean, obviously that's kind of the hot topic right now. They both fell your way after some very tight and hard-fought games. Overall, how are you feeling about your team's performance after the first couple of games?
Yeah, like you guys were saying, I thought we had a little bit of a tough start in game 1. Humboldt came out and I think surprised us really with their effort and their forecheck. And, we had a tough time getting out of our zone. And, I thought, as the game went on, we got better and better slowly but surely. Last half of the game, I thought after the timeout in the second period, we evened it up a bit as far as territorial play. And I thought in the third period, though, we took over and obviously came out with the right outcome. And game 2, we had a better start. I thought the first period was excellent. And then, our second period was not up to what we usually play like. And I think it was a bit of nerves or not even sure what happened on our bench. But we didn't react well to the goals against. And it took us, a little bit to reset to get into the third period. And once again, we've turned into a bit of a third period hockey club here, which is a nice thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Two games where you guys were down in the second period and came back, so that's obviously a good thing to see. I want to talk about this top pairing of yours, Freetmore and Laith Olson. Obviously, you've had a bunch of great D over your time in Melfort. Where does that pair stack up maybe with some of the other pairs that you've had? Do you think it's right at the top? Because boy, oh boy, are they playing another level right now?
Well, yeah, you can go all the way back to Heath and Boomgarden. You can also Sinclair and Bear. Those are on championship teams. I think those two with Leith and Chase rank right up there with them. Obviously, probably more so in point production too, and not just on the defensive side of the puck, but also on the offensive side. And it's nice to have two guys that can play from anywhere from 27 to 30 minutes a night, and not discounting our other 4 guys, which we really have depended on, and they've done a great job too to fill in when needed. But they can definitely handle all 200 feet of the ice, which is a nice luxury to have when you're a coach.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick follow-up. Is Freetmore's one-timer the best one-timer you've had from a D-man?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say just off the cuff, obviously it's fresh, but it is a bullet for sure. And I'm not sure, we've never actually clocked it, but it's got to be up there over 90, I would think.
Nuge, addressed obviously your two defensemen. I want to go up front to the forward unit, right? And we talked about them in the opening segment of the show and how they can take over a game, how we'd put them up against anyone else's top line. But what is it? I mean, skill aside, because you can have skilled guys, but it just doesn't gel sometimes together. Is it their hockey sense? Is it that Sliva, Hutchinson, and Duguay are all different in the way they play but complement each other so well? Just what have you seen from just those three together that makes them so dynamic?
I think they do complement each other. One thing about it this year, though, is, as you know, and it's been talked about lots, is the injuries. And we've had guys bump around, play with different players, pretty much all season. And it really wasn't by choice. It was more necessity. And they've all responded, even as Austin Shepard has been as high up in the lineup as a second-line centerman. So we've had that, where it's kind of whoever plays with who can get it done. Keep the system consistent, keep how we play consistent, and just a matter of slotting guys in and out and where they need to be. But with Sliva, Hutchinson, and Duguay, it's this pretty special combination. You could also put Summers in there also, or Belton. To be honest, they've worked well with all five of those guys have worked well together at times. But with Duguay and Hutchinson, Sliva, like you said, the chemistry's there, and they kind of know where each other are, and it's pretty special to watch when they're on.
So, Coach, in the first round against Estevan, obviously the penalty kill, let's say, struggled a little bit. Estevan's power play was hot. So far in these first couple of games, you're 6 for 7 on the penalty kill. Was there any changes made? Was there any discussion about that in between the series? What have you guys done to be successful to this point so far on the penalty kill?
Well, I don't know if I really agree with you guys raking us over the coals there after the first round, to be honest, with regards to the penalty kill. So if we break that down, there's 2 4-on-3 scored against us in that series and a 5-on-3. And I would say 2 of those goals on the power play didn't matter in the game. And as far as the result was, they were late. And also, I would say the second period in the second game down there, in the last 5 minutes, we were having our own issues as far as adversity and handling things. So I think when you kind of put all those together, it was situational. We did adjust on our penalty kill a little bit as the series went on against Estevan. But again, there was no wholesale changes to how we do things on that. It was just more being assertive, being a little bit more read and react. And the guys bought in and got it done.
For sure. And then, I guess on top of that, obviously you and I both watched that Estevan Melfort series really closely. I guess how do you feel like the game model, the way that the game has looked in the 2 games against Humboldt so far versus the 5 games against Estevan, how have they been different or have they both been, pretty much the same for you?
I think competitive wise, it's been about the same, to be honest. It's been physical both ways. And whether F1's on the puck hard or, the forecheck has been, I think on both ends of the ice has been relatively effective. I think maybe, a slight difference might be the pace of play. As far as I think Humboldt's, brought a little bit more pace. And I think in game 1, first period, they maybe had us a little bit on our heels because of that. But again, we've adjusted in our puck managements and we got it going, like I said, in the second period, and it's kind of continued on. So, I think, when you look at the difference between Humboldt and Estevan, they kind of play maybe the same way. They want to play a little bit heavy and be on top of you. And I think that's benefited us here from series to series.
Obviously you took care of business in games 1 and 2, and you got to be happy, up 2-0, protecting home ice, going into Humboldt here for games 3 and 4 coming up tomorrow on Wednesday. But I would also think that you would agree that those were very, very close games that could have bounced, either way. So with that in mind, going into games 3 and 4, what is kind of your main address? Like, what are the things that, you're up 2-0, yeah, but, it could be 1-1, it could be 0-2. We got to adjust this, guys. We got to be better in this department.
Yeah, that's a great question, and obviously, without giving too many secrets, we got to shut down.
Yeah,
their
Scott
offensive
Barney's
end.
not watching. He's not watching. We promise.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him on mute. But we all know defensively, that's what wins championships. And I hate to be vague in that, but that's exactly what needs to happen with our group. The quality chances probably have to get less and less here going on the road that we gave up against. I know James is an outstanding goaltender, but we just can't keep leaning on him for those big time saves. So we need to sharpen things up, on the defensive side of the puck and make sure we're defending well.
You just mentioned James, and that's a good transition into my next question here, Coach. James Venn has been, a workhorse. He's an MVP candidate for a reason. He was a goalie of the year candidate for a reason. Having a goalie like that, I mean, what kind of pressure does that just take off your shoulders throughout the season and at this time of year, knowing that you have a James Venn in your crease?
Well, I think it's fantastic. It's he's just been a great for us in the pipes, but no, he's just even a better person, and he works so hard. And I know I've said this before, but his work ethic is second to none when it comes to being in the gym, his maintenance on his body, and some people might think that's crazy. And I heard some comments about how we were overusing him in the regular season, but honestly, I left it up to him. If he felt good, he wanted the net, he got it. And especially down the stretch when you need those wins to get into second place. Not even a question in what he can do as far as his ability and him staying healthy. Knock on wood, but it's one of the just a special person, special player, and it's just with how he competes in traffic when there's an outside shot with traffic. He's got it about 90% of the time, or 95, if not more. So it's like. He's just competitive level is so big, when it needs to be on those traffic shots and in tight when it's time to battle and compete.
For sure. I mean, so Trevor, maybe do a little bit of our work for us, if you don't mind. I know you know Braden Klamosko really well. I know you know Mike Reagan really well. You've faced them 1,000 times. Give us a couple thoughts, what you're thinking maybe about the other series as well, what you expected from it, maybe how it's gone a little bit from your perspective, because I know you're a real student of the game. So what have you seen from that series too?
Yeah, I haven't watched the games per se as much, more or less just the highlights. But it to me, with both teams to have success, I would say, on Battleford's end to definitely, keep the puck 200 feet away, keep it out of their forwards' hands. And in my opinion, you got to keep Flin Flon uncomfortable and keep them in their D zone. And it goes to say the other way, I think it kind of holds true for both teams. They both like to run and gun. It's pretty offensive, send four on the rush. And they definitely don't like to play in their own zone or are a little more uncomfortable. So, I would think that, it's probably highly offensive. I would say the shot totals are, probably going to be high as the series goes on. And, I think both teams are comfortable with that.
So 3 days off in between game 2 and game 3. How have you guys handled the downtime? And I know one of the storylines that we've been talking about this year with you guys is your roster injury status throughout the year. Is this maybe these 3 days, is it coming at a decent time for you guys just to kind of rest up a little bit, or do you want to just get back on the ice?
It's whatever. I mean, the league made the decision. It's been kind of a long 3 days. I've never seen 3 days off in a series ever, in SJHL history, but it is what it is, and it's the same for both teams, right? So for us, we've taken advantage of that. Obviously, we've got bumps and bruises. Both teams have, and it's one of those things where you can maybe get on a maintenance day in there. And it was nice for us. We had spring camp here this weekend, so obviously to have that Saturday, Sunday being free from really any kind of prep or commitments for that, took the load off. But the guys have been good. We've got some nicks and bruises too, and guys that are out of the lineup, just like Humboldt will. But it's playoff hockey, and it's the next man up.
I did actually have 4 rapid fire questions for you, but it's going to be easier for you because Nugsy stole one off the top with the Freetmore one-timer. So, again, I'll move to the forward unit for the first rapid fire.
Ask him again. Just ask him again.
I don't know. Has he thought of another player since then that may rival a Chase Freetmore one-timer?
Colby Ball can shoot a puck, hey?
Yeah, I mean, there's guys in the league that definitely you want to pay attention to, for sure. But as far as I think Kirk Bear had a good one too. And if Eric St. Clair, you look at Riley Boomgarden when I think back to early championship or first championship year. So yeah, it was it's up there. I know Travis Mann. We clocked him at 94 miles an hour for his slap shot. Not many people thought he could shoot it that hard, being he's only 5'10", but he did have a rocket.
Can confirm he can shoot hard. He scored a lot of goals in the Estevan Bruins back in the day. I haven't forgotten.
I mean, just since my time in the SJHL, you've had some dominant forward lines as well. Colby Ball, Carson Albrecht, and Zentner. Where would you kind of rank Hutchinson, Duguay, and Sleva against that dominant three?
Yeah, well, you had Ball.
Sorry, Justin Ball. I said Colby
Albrecht,
Ball.
also got Fryman and Boyer. Yeah, Justin Ball, yeah, for sure. But I mean, this is probably just as good, really, right now. I mean, they didn't have the regular season numbers that maybe those other lines did, but they've haven't been together, as long either. So they've really found the chemistry right now, and they're as dynamic as we've seen in Mustang uniforms. Definitely.
I'm really interested about this question. I thought it was a neat one. What would make you more frustrated, coaching? A too many men call against you, like a bad change, your players, lose sight of it, bad change, too many men call against you, or a missed too many men call for the other team, where it's clearly they got 6 on the ice, they touched the puck, but it was missed. Which one gets your arms in the air a little more?
Ooh.
Probably the missed one.
The missed one does?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because you can control what you can control, right? And that's get your bench in order. But, when the other people are making mistakes, I would say that would probably frustrate you more.
I just got one more. Obviously, you guys got the amazing crew of trash can fans behind, the visitors' bench. They're jamming up the energy. As a marketing guy for Humboldt, I'm trying to think what we can counter it with, and I came up with bringing the Scottish bagpipe crew behind yours. So I'm just wondering if there was any, more annoying of an instrument that I could substitute the bagpipes out for, just in your mind. That would really, rattle your feathers a bit. But right now, my top is bagpipes.
I don't know. I that's a tough one off the top of the head. But it's you could look at maybe a trumpet. I'm not sure.
Just get a brass band.
There's
behind
lots of like Scottish
band,
people in Saskatchewan, Rory. I don't know if you want to be isolating.
Well, I'm just
Scottish
saying,
people.
behind where you're trying to coach, it's a very distinct sound. I'm not saying it's a bad instrument. It's a distinct sound.
Tomorrow. If someone shows up with a trumpet tomorrow, I'm gonna go blow it in your ear.
Please do. Please do.
Power to the people.
I'm just trying to think of things,
A vuvuzela maybe, or something like that. Yeah. Air horns, like in Montreal, the Alouettes. Anyways, Trevor, we're gonna let you go.
Good though, the series, I know it's gonna be really loud in Humboldt too, and it's fantastic. I know you guys were talking about that earlier, but great for the both communities to have this so close and limited travel, and we're just excited to. With the atmosphere, it's great for the players. I know they appreciate it, and it's exciting for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great little geographical rivalry there, and the Saskatchewan Derby is alive and well. So thank you, Trevor. We're gonna let you go, get back to your day, but best of luck the rest of the way here.
Thanks, guys. I know 2 of you mean that, maybe not the third guy.
I'm good. Either way.
we'll be there Tuesday night.
Fight.
Can't wait to see Trevor blowing a trumpet in your face. That'll be a good one.
We need to bring a camera crew from IKS just in case.
Well, me and Neugebauer are on the road tomorrow. We're going to be there. So if there is any trumpet playing, we'll get it on video camera. We'll tape it and make sure we get a record of it. But we're going to hit a little break. And when we come back, we're going to do a little bit of an SJHL playoff quiz and take a look at the rest of the week ahead. So stay tuned.
The Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Advanced power and capability to tackle the long hauls. Style to make a statement on the streets. Visit ChevroletOffers.ca to learn more.
Increase your home comfort with high-efficiency natural gas equipment. Sask Energy offers rebates so you can lower your energy use and save money. For a list of rebates, contact a participating network member or visit saskenergy.com.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. Everyone wins.
Thanks for helping me out and trying to protect me today. It's the kind of thing that, somebody comes out who's not ready, not prepared, and put into an awkward situation without somebody taking leadership and saying, hey, I'm going to protect you. It's going to shorten people's careers, and that's a big reason why we exist, and what drives us to do what we do.
They know how important their role is in the community, being a good leader, showing kids that there is a right and a wrong way to do things, and leading the right way, being a positive role model to not just kids in the community, but anybody in the community.
Coach said a lot of great things that are really consistent with the values that we have at the SCSA, and respect for those around us, respect for those that we work side by side with, leadership, and part of that is being innovative and collaborative and solving problems together. Really, the last one that you touched on was integrity, doing what's right and doing it the right way. And those things just yield incredible results, not just in terms of making things safe, but really being productive and striving, whether it be in a game or in your life or in your business.
I think absolutely we try and fill the roles of all those values and just try to be the best people we can, really, not only for ourselves, but for our teammates and for the community around us.
Have a lot of fun today. Thanks, guys.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
My name is Kyle McIntyre, and I'm the commissioner of the SJHL. We have 12 teams spread out all over this amazing province. 12 teams that hit the road for combined 324 season games. We take hockey players, we make them better. We make them better at hockey and better at life. That's what the SJHL is all about. We have a great league, we have great teams, great ownership, the best fans, the best partners, and the best sponsors.
Saskatchewan's far north is where the land itself inspires. It's the beauty and power of wilderness, the solitude of a place far removed from what you might know. When this landscape surrounds you, it's like nothing else. Come and let it awaken you, energize you. Come and create your story in our Northern Lights and Waterways. Saskatchewan.
All right, back inside for the final segment of the show today, SJHL Weekly, as we preview games 3 and 4 coming up. Game 3 tonight in Battleford is taking place. Game 3 in Humboldt tomorrow night. But we're going to get into a little bit of a quiz here. We usually do like a buy it or sell it segment. Sometimes we do like actual questions, like trivia questions. Today we're just going to do open-ended quiz questions. You guys can answer however you want. No restrictions.
No rules.
No rules. Except for just answer the questions. That's the rule.
Okay.
Who is in more trouble right now, down 2-0? Obviously, we have Battlefords and we have Humboldt in each series. Who's in more trouble right now?
You want to go, Nukes?
Sure. Yeah. I think Battlefords is in trouble. Just the way the games have gone, as you said. Humboldt didn't play badly in either of those two games. They had second period leads in both of those games. It's not ideal for Humboldt, but Battleford certainly is in more trouble.
I just think with the way Flin Flon is
Yeah,
playing
they're
right
just
now,
so
like I
good.
said, they don't seem to have any defect. And
Right. It's almost not even Battleford's fault. It's just Flin
it's
Flon's
not.
playing
Flin Flon's
really
playing
well.
very, very good. So down,
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, down 2-0, Melfort dominant on the road, Melfort dominant at home, Flin Flon dominant at home, right? It's not ideal for any situation.
No.
But Flin Flon's been the number one team in the country. So because of that, I would say Battleford, it's just a taller test. They've just been playing so good.
Yeah, for sure. Nugsy, anything to add on that, or you're good?
Braden Klamosko and Garrett Schilderhose are your coaches. You have a core of guys that were at the Centennial Cup last year. There is no reason to panic.
Well,
you're in trouble.
They're down 2-0 to Flin Flon.
But they
no one wants to panic.
They
But
still have great. They still have great coaches. There's
Yes.
still reasons. My point is, there's reasons to go buy tickets and go watch.
Oh, absolutely.
yes.
Yeah, you're not
It's
missing
still
those
going to be
games.
good. We're not saying it's over either. That's not what we're saying.
It's 100% not over. But yes, I'm sure.
So take the nuanced answer.
Fans are nervous.
Love it.
You should be
with the situation.
Hey, I was nervous. You should be nervous before the puck drops in game 1. Everybody should. I'm a nervous guy.
Yeah. My blood pressure in Game 7, I tell you, back in that last round, it was spiked.
It was
spiked, man.
I imagine. Which player has impressed you much? You see what I did there? That was a Shania Twain reference. During the playoffs so far, who has impressed you this playoffs?
Go ahead.
And it doesn't have to be like a top-end guy. It can be anybody.
I've got 2 quick ones. That's okay. Maddox Amaral, I was on your broadcast there in Weyburn, and I talked about him ad nauseum. 4 goals, 9 points for him already this postseason. He was terrific against Weyburn, and just all around, just working absolutely as hard as I've ever seen any kid work in this league. Just wonderful for Humboldt. And Ben Portner, maybe, it's funny to say, Keem Bell was 13 points in 6 games in this playoffs, but they needed somebody else to step up, and Ben Portner has been great for Battleford's 5 goals, 4 assists, and big-time power play as well. Wins a lot of face-offs for Battleford's too. So those are my 2.
Yeah, I love a pick of Amaral. I mean, Duguay.
Yeah.
Right? Now I've seen him up and close for 2 games. Hey, I mean, I picked him at the beginning of the year to be on my fantasy team, and he led the league in points up until the first couple months, got hurt, right? And, he's just, with Sleva and Hutchinson, if you give him a little pocket of room, it's going to the back of your net, right? You said he could have had 100 goals in the first round. Well, now he's got 4 goals in 2 games in the second round. So
he's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy, and he's been really impressing me as that top line rolls. You need to shut them down, but they're so skilled and they're able to separate and work so well through transition that it's really, really hard to. Yeah. So you can't stop them. You just got to limit them. And Duguay makes that really hard when he's scoring 2 goals a game.
Makes it really hard, yeah. Scoring 2 goals a game is really hard to slow down, for sure. Who needs to step up more? Players-wise. A player. Which player are you looking at right now and says, man, if he was stepping up, that might be a little bit better off?
I'll pick one on each team that's down 2-0. Sure. Humboldt had Travis Bryson rolling for a lot of the season. It's a bigger player playing on the top line, going up against top defense nightly now, right? They had the Kovacs and Teasdale line. Now they got the Friedmore and Olofsson line. But I'd like to see a little bit more out of Travis Bryson. He's got 6 points. It's not terrible. Just generate a little bit more of that down low puck possession that we saw so frequently throughout the regular season. I haven't seen it as much as I would like. That's just from my eyes. And then on the series that, I haven't watched a ton of, but just a little bit, I'm sure Battlefords would want a little more out of Josh Meternak, right? A 20-year-old centerman that has dub experience coming in. He's great defensively responsible, right? He's great on faceoffs, but he's got 0 points in 6 games. I mean, I think they're going to want more out of a 20-year-old centerman that they've, acquired to also help chip in. But so that'd be my guy. I'm not saying he's playing bad, but you need that secondary scoring from a veteran.
Yeah, he's definitely like a grindy, like centerman, sort of
100%.
D-zone first kind of thing, what he did in the dub. But, my guy for Battlefords, I'll say, is Bradley Blake. Like, he is a clinical finisher. He's got a ring to the Centennial Cup, 1 goal in this whole playoff so far, playing on a big line. I don't want to sit here and criticize Kean Bell too much. We just expect him to put up 1,000 points every single time.
Still does. He's got 13 points or something.
He had, I think he had 3 points maybe in the first 2 games there in football. Not bad at all. Again, wasn't super involved in game 1, but that's going to happen up in the Whitney Forum. But I'd like to see more from another 20-year-old than Brad Blake, who's been around for a long time. And I'm sure, again, he's thinking that same thing. And I was going to say Travis Bryson as well for Humboldt, though, again, he's a guy that isn't the fastest guy in the world, I don't think, and he needs a little bit of space to be created for him. And when he does get his shot off, he's deadly. I'm sure the Broncos will find a way to maybe do that and get some matchups in the EPA for him. So I'm not as worried per se, but that's a good pick.
Well, his big thing is when he is controlling the puck and able to fend off, but it opens up Spencer Bell. Right? And why was Spencer Bell not scoring goals? It might, that line needs to get back to do what it's doing.
Cycle.
We've seen it more in game 6, 7, 1, and 2. From that top line, they've been better. But I would agree.
Which arena this week will give more of an advantage to the teams that are down 2-0 heading back home? So we're talking Humboldt, we're talking Battlefords. Which arena is going to give more of an advantage to their team?
See, this is an odd one because...
Yes. Can I say yes?
Because
I think so.
Battleford's,
That's an acceptable answer.
Battleford is no longer in the Whitney Forum.
Right.
Which I think is you know what I mean? That's a big advantage.
They get to leave.
They get to leave the Whitney Forum.
They could play anywhere, and it'd be better off.
You know, Flin-Flon's still good on the road. Battleford's great at the ACC. I would say that Humboldt is the better home team at the EPA than Battleford is at the ACC. I'd say Humboldt is better at the home team. But leaving the Northern Lights Palace as opposed to leaving the Whitney Forum, it's a different animal, right? So Battleford, but Humboldt obviously is undefeated at home, right? So.
Yeah,
but they just played so good at the Northern Lights Palace that
Melfort was significantly better. Their record was significantly better at home than it was on the road. You don't see the same splits with the other teams either. So I'm going to say Humboldt because I think the atmosphere in that whole series is going to be electric between Humboldt and Melfort, and expect the people at the EPA to go bananas tomorrow. So
and apparently the Phantom Light Distillery guys are going to be at both buildings, apparently, or at least one tonight. I'm not sure about tomorrow night, but at least tonight in Battleford's, they'll be there. So
I haven't heard from
check them
Soiko.
out.
I mean, they're welcome back anytime. They were great. So
I mean, me and Nugs are going to be there, so you guys better show up. Because I haven't sampled the stuff yet, so just let you know. On a scale of 1 to 10, and this is going back to the Battleford's North Stars here, how big of a loss is Jackson Allen and Riley Giroux to that team? Scale of 1 to 10.
An absolute 10.
10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's huge. Not even just because of what they do on the ice, but the experience too. You know, if you give up that game-tying goal in the second, late in the second period to Justin Lees, now you're going into the third tied. You need that experience, and you need Jackson Allen does so many things right.
Yeah.
Right. He's just that energy,
great
that spark,
guy,
great
really
face-off,
skater.
fast. Yeah. And Giroux, physical. Not the biggest guy, but he'll get under your skin and he'll grind and experience and speed and responsibility. 10.
Yeah, and them and Ryland Williams together were really a line that were as good as any shutdown line in at least the last 3 quarters of the year. Battleford's was ridiculous in the last 3 quarters of the year. Their record was incredible. They had a little bit of a stretch of struggling at the end, but that line was so key. And you think Braden Klamosko and Garrett Childerose would love to match up Jackson Allen and Riley Giroux and Ryland Williams, up against Justin Lees and whomever, if they could, whenever they could, but just not an option. And I should say, another guy who's really, really, really been good in that series has been Ryland Williams. He's really stepped up for Battleford. He's been one of their better players. Him and Hunter Bergeson have both been really good for Battleford's. But those are massive losses. And I talk about that soul. I know it's impossible to quantify, but I talk about soul. You need it to win, and those two guys are full of soul. And the last thing I'll say is SJHL.ca, the Golden Sheaf article I wrote on Jackson Allen. I was so impressed talking to him. So make sure you check out that article on SJHL.ca.
I just got a text from Amanda Schlochter, the president of the Humboldt Broncos. She said, there's an older guy in Humboldt who plays bagpipes. So we might actually have this going if Trevor's still watching.
Love it.
Trevor is going to grab the bagpipe at some point. Come up to the booth.
Does he know how to play
and
them?
break it over your head.
I don't know. I can't confirm nor deny that Trevor Blevins is a bagpipe player, but you know what? I wouldn't put it past the guy. He's a talented man.
This might be coming together.
This is exciting. I am pumped.
I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
Yes, you are.
Do that.
Well, if you're not, we are. Me and Nugsy are going to make it happen. Anyways, we're going to have a look at the schedules now. I just asked our guys in the back. There's a graphic that I was hoping we could maybe squeeze into the show here if you can find it. If not, no worries. But other than that, let's have a look here at just the Flin Flon and Battleford schedule again. As you can see, of course, tonight goes the Game 3, Monday, April 8th. That's tonight in Battleford, 7:30 Saskatchewan time. Again, for Manitoba folks, that is Saskatchewan time. So it will actually be 8:30 your time. So just keep that in mind. Tomorrow night will be Game 4. Again, 7:30 Saskatchewan time, 8:30 Flin Flon or Manitoba time. And then Game 5 and 6 will be Friday and Sunday. And then Game 7, of course, those are all if necessary. We'll go on Tuesday next week.
Funny you should mention that. I do feel like Flin Flon is its own sort of world. So the fact that you said Flin Flon time, I thought it was kind
of Flin Flon time
proper because it's like another universe out there.
Let's have a look now at the Melfort Humboldt series, the schedule. As you can see, no Game 3 tonight. That's actually tomorrow at 7:30 Saskatchewan time, Wednesday. Game 4, and then, of course, if necessary, Game 5, 6, and 7. Rory, do we have any update on Game 7?
I do not, actually.
I think it's going to be the Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Should be.
Yeah. So it'll be Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back, then Saturday, Sunday back-to-back, and then Tuesday,
It's in
hypothetically.
Melfort, so isn't it up to them? Or I mean,
I just didn't know if you
well,
were...
two will talk, but at
yeah.
the end of the day, isn't it kind of up to Melfort?
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, it'll be an exciting couple back-to-back games, I know that for sure. Now, if we can bring up the graphic, we have the updated bracket visual. I love bracket visuals, as we were talking about. So as you can see, Flin Flon did win the first 2 games there. Melfort did win the first 2 games there. You can see the schedules beside there, Monday and Tuesday for game 3s. Of course, the winners of these 2 series will be the ones meeting up in the SJHL final for the Cantera Seeds Cup. And we're all very excited about this. And of course, the playoffs as a total are presented by our friends at UPL Open Ag, UPL Canada. Guys, one thing that you guys are keeping an eye on this week, what has your brains triggered the most about this upcoming
I
week?
just wouldn't be shocked if we see both of these series tied going back for game 5. I just know how important home ice advantage is. I know that Battlefords can change a couple things. Flin Flon's playing amazing, and I know that games 1 and game 2 in Melfort could have went either way. Nothing would shock me if it was 2 series going back to Flin Flon and Melfort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to get out there and be on the road there and be in Humboldt on Tuesday there. Should be a lot of fun. Clark and I will be there, so say hello.
Yes.
If you see us. And yeah, I mean, there were plenty of moments up at the Whitney Forum where it could have gone either way also. Like, there's obviously so much talent on this Battlefords team. They just need to find a way to beat Laser Hume at the right moment, stay out the box at the right moment, and there's certainly lots to play for. So you're right, Rory. That's a great call. It could be 2-2. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really.
That would be a lot of fun heading into a busy weekend coming up. We got to make sure you guys are getting all of our social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching there. If you're not watching there, head over to YouTube and hit subscribe. But also our Facebook, our Twitter, X, our Instagram, and our TikTok accounts. Make sure you're following all those places. And also, if you can't get to the rinks, which, what are you doing? You're crazy at this point of the year. Get to the rinks. Even if you're a fan of, let's say, like Weyburn, Estevan, Yorkton, all the teams that aren't currently in it. If you have a chance to get up to go to a rink, why not? Do it. YOLO, as I think all the kids say that still.
That's still around?
Great.
I'm going to say no. Probably not.
Might fizzle off.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But still, it still applies. YOLO.
Created by a great Toronto guy.
Yeah?
YOLO was?
Was
Drake,
it?
Drake.
Was Drake? Did Drake invent YOLO, or did he just popularize it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Drake invented YOLO.
I love
everybody.
Toronto, though.
Of course you do. But get your Flow Hockey accounts. I'm actually heading there at the end of the month, so I'm actually very excited to get there. Drake invented YOLO. If you come away with anything from this episode today, that's what we wanted you to know.
You're going to have to end it, Clark. We've lost them.
But get your Flow Hockey subscription if you can't. Get to the rinks, get your Flow Hockey subscription. We have to thank all of our sponsors as well, of course, UPL Canada, UPL Open Ag.
ISOCAM right now. ISOCAM.
Borgo, Cantera Seeds, Capital Automall, Chevrolet, Great Western, Nutrien, Drake for inventing YOLO, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Lotteries, Tourism Saskatchewan, Sask Energy, SGU, and SGI. Thanks to all our sponsors for keeping us talking about Drake in the playoffs. The SJHL Insider is going to go on Thursday this week. We're not sure of the guest yet. TBD. We'll let you know. But we will recap games 3s and 4s. Yes, all of them will have been played by then. So we'll recap those ones and potential games 5s and 6s. So keep an eye out on Thursday. It'll be a good show there. Potentially, and I don't want to say anything about the 2 teams that are down, potentially recapping 2 series. Potentially. But hopefully not. Hopefully these series keep going. And keep an eye out next week. We will not have a show on Monday. I think we're confirming this now. We're not having a show on Monday next week. We're going to move it to Wednesday because then all the series will officially be done. No matter how the series go, they'll be done. So we're going to do a finals preview show next Wednesday. No Insider next week because Wednesday, Thursday is just too quick. We're going to say everything we want to say on Wednesday, so we don't need a Thursday show. And then we'll get back again to the Monday, Thursdays following that until we're done. So that's the end of the show today. Clark Munroe for Jamie Neugebauer and Rory McGouran, for Bryce and Jordan in the back, and everyone here at IKS Media. Thanks for tuning in today, and enjoy the hockey, guys. It's going to be a fun couple of days.